Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here, and today I have a playthrough of Tranquility Ascent. This one is soon to launch on Kickstarter as I post this video on the One Stop Co-op Shop YouTube channel. This is a 1 to 5 player game designed by James Emerson and published by Board Game Hub. It is the follow-up to Tranquility, a standalone game also for 1 to 5 players, cooperative limited communication. In that previous game, you were filling in a card-based grid with an ocean motif sailing tranquilly on the open sea. Here, you are going to be ascending a mountain. Same core gameplay. In the multiplayer mode, it is limited communication, cooperative. Players will be playing these cards without communicating with one another, trying to read what the other player is doing and reacting off of that. Only here, we are adding a Ascent element where eventually we are going to be completing a row of cards and hopefully ending up at the summit. So I have a demonstration of the solo game. The solo game plays very differently. Obviously no limited communication, but the same card laying and building up will obtain. So I hope that you enjoy this solo playthrough. This is the One Stop Co-op Shop. We have Kickstarter previews, we cover newly released games, we cover old games. If you have a cooperative or solo game interest, chances are you will find it here on the One Stop Co-op Shop YouTube channel. You can also find us on our podcast, available on SoundCloud. Go ahead and take a look in the show notes for all these links. For our community, please join our Discord. Our Discord has many opportunities to talk about your favorite cooperative and solo games. Free to join. Anybody who is interested can join. And if you wanted to sign up for our Patreon, contribute a little bit so that we can keep bringing you videos, you will have access to different tiers within a Discord. But I did want to emphasize that if you are looking for co-op and solo discussion, then the Discord is free for all. We also have a streaming channel, so if you want to have live content, live plays, we have that as well. The One Stop Co-op Shop is a gaming empire. So without further ado, I will show you what you are going to get with Tranquility Ascent, and then show you a solo playthrough. I would like to begin by showing you the entire base laid out, 10 of these little triangle cards. And then as I go on, I'm going to be taking all these cards and building them out. Eventually, it will be a huge pyramid. This thing takes up a lot of table space. So it is instructive to note at this point that I was provided a prototype for the sake of this playthrough, so components are not final. I believe that the publisher is working on a smaller version of the cards. Also, it will have rounded edges, some redone graphic design, but the core gameplay will be the same. So now I have zoomed into the beginning of the game. Card play will always proceed from left to right. Here is my hand as the active player, and there's my partner. I will never know what is in their hand, and we cannot discuss. The game specifically discourages talk about the game. You could talk about anything else. Anything else in the world, as long as you're not talking about what is in your hand. Card play is very simple. You play a card, pass your turn. So then if I wanted to play a card right there, I would just get parked right there, and that would be fine. Pass turn to the next player. They would play another card, and I would have to follow a couple of rules at this point. First of all, I could not place it here. Has to build off one to the other. Second of all, the colors cannot match, so I couldn't place a blue over here. There are 3 suits, green, blue, and red, so I'd have to alternate suits. And possibly most important, which is the beating heart of the game, which is the managing the numbers and the differences. So then 9 minus 8 is 1. Whenever I play a card, I have to discard the difference. So then it is very much a hand management game. So this card play would be a 9. They'd be down to 3, and then at the end of the turn, they would draw up and have 2 more cards. Following up, I could play this card, which is also there, and I have to discard 1 card. If I wanted to play a much lower card, let's say I had a 3, I couldn't play a 3 because I don't have that many cards to discard. But if I wanted to play this 10, I would safely do so and discard there, just like that, and then draw up my standard hand. Another very important rule to observe are the numbers and how they interact with the levels. So I could not do this. This is a 1, and I can only play 1s on the first level. I can only play 2s on the first 2 levels. I can only play 3s on the first 3 levels. So I would have to, somewhere along the way, play this 1 on the bottom row over here, or it would just become discard fodder and clunk up your hand a little bit. The pyramid will go up 8 levels in terms of the Ascent card, so I could play the 8 and above up to anywhere in the pyramid, up to the tippy top. But the tippy top is actually reserved for the 1 card, which is the Summit card. The end of the game will be if the players accomplish putting down this Summit card. That is the only victory condition, harder than you think, but this is the card that you have to place. There are 5 of these in the deck, so you'll be discarding 4 of them. If it happens that you end up discarding all 5 cards, then you will lose the game at that point because you technically cannot win, and there are no way to retrieve discards, so make sure you manage your Summit cards wisely. Another thing to look for are these campfire cards. This allows a little bit of board manipulation. So it is a tile laying game, and for the most part, if you play a card, it's going to be stuck where it is, except for these 3 very powerful cards, which allows a little bit of fungibility. Let's say you get stuck, you ended up discarding some cards, or not discarding, but playing cards in not the optimal spots. You can loosen things up with these cards. So there are 3 for every, or 1 for every color. And what they allow you to do is manipulate the board. So I would put the card over there, the campfire card, and then they would free this up to be placed. It has to be at a higher level, but it can be basically anywhere as long as it involves placement rules. I would place that over here, and I would be good to go for my turn. Another card to observe are the bridge card. This art is not final. I believe they're going to look at that again, so it pops a little bit more, but the gameplay will be the same. This is basically a free play. So let's say I didn't have any cards. So right now I don't have a lot of cards over here that I want to discard. Look at that, a 2, a 5, get out of here. Nothing that goes next to a 10. I would basically put a placeholder down here. I would put this bridge down, and on a future turn, if I wanted to, I would play a card that goes a little bit better with the previous card. I could put that there, observes all rules. I would discard 2 cards because of the difference, and then move on. You have to cover all bridges in order to be able to complete the mountaintop. Tranquility Ascent will also come with a variety of game modes. So this game can be played solo. It will obviously lose a little bit of the tension of the multiplayer, limited communication. That won't be there. Also, you won't have as many resources in your hand. You only have a hand of 6 cards, a single hand of 6 cards. The way the game overcomes that is it gives you these 3 grapple hook cards. These are basically mulligans. So you discard 1, you would mulligan your hand if you don't have any way to work with the board. If you want to make your game more challenging, you could play with a fewer of them or not any of them. Another way to wrinkle up the solo play, which is also a mode you could put in a multiplayer game, is the green path upwards. As you are building, you are going to want to complete a path this way. You still cannot put cards parallel to one another, at least the same cards. So you have to navigate very smartly, getting a green path upwards. I recommend playing with at least this little extra rule in the solo game because it loses that tension. You want to replace that with a little bit of puzzliness and challenge. And I think the green Ascent does enough of that to make the solo experience satisfying. There are other modes as well. This is the panorama mode. You would begin the game with a number of these turned over, 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on how hard you want to make it. This puts requirements on your card play. So then this would, I have it here, 10, 11, and then once I fill this in, I would look for a 12, and I would satisfy this condition. So then once I satisfied the condition, I would score it, and then I would progress to the next area, and I would need to satisfy that condition. Don't add more than 4 or 5 because then that'll be impossible. I like hard games, but a little bit too difficult can be not fun. The last mode to mention, and this is unfortunate that I can't show you this, at least the meeples. They're going to be really snazzy meeples, but I don't have those right now because it's a prototype. However, worth noting that there will be a goat variant. As I play these goat cards with the symbol on them, I will get goat little things over here. You'll be able to discard a card to move goats up the mountain, and the goal will be to get some of these goats up to the top. So adding another layer of hand management and also a little bit of thematic flair. We are ready to get started with a playthrough of Tranquility Ascent solo mode. I have my hand of cards over here. A little bit awkward to hold in terms of the diamond shape, but I think getting the smaller cards that the company is working on will definitely help that out a little bit. So just to talk you through a little bit of strategy, the beginning of the game is generally pretty pro forma. However, there are some decisions, particularly, so this 3 is going to be useful only in the first 3 rows, so I'm going to want to play that pretty early. Didn't get 2s. There are no 1s in the deck in the solo mode, as I mentioned before. I do have a row of higher cards, though, so I think I'm going to have to just, hope that I can use this 3 a little bit later and play my higher cards in sequence. So let's see how I do there. So put down that 10. There is no difference to make, so I don't discard any cards. Just draw another one. Ooh, bridge. That'll come in handy in a little bit. And then I'm going to play this 9. And now I'm going to have to discard. And I think that this 3 just doesn't go with anything. So half the deck gets discarded anyway. So we are getting started on that nice and early, and that is another bridge. I don't love having bridges in my hand that early. I'll actually draw 2 cards. Always draw up to 6. So that is an 11, and now I get to decide what I want to do. I can start building upwards, which would not cost me a card at this point, or I can keep on building parallel. I'm going to keep on building parallel. That was my original plan. Plus, I have the cards just laid out that way. I would have to discard a card. Don't want to discard a bridge. Discard this 11. Oh, actually, you know what? Here's another thing. I am playing with the green Ascent, optional rule, just to make the solo game a little bit more interesting. So discarding that 11 is going to be a little bit difficult. I want to hold on to that as much as possible. I can't play the 7, though, next to the 8, so I think the 7 is going to get chucked. And I draw 2 more cards. Ooh. I got got a nice campfire over there. That'll work. And I got a 2. So this 2 is going to be useless in any other place. So I'm going to play the 2 there to get started. And I'm going to draw to replace my hand of 4. All right, so this is where I get into a little bit of decision space. So you see I was able to kind of set things up, making little decisions, and now I have to really consider what is going on with my hand. Actually, I think I have a decision over here. I'm going to play the bridge here. I'm going to try to hold out for another 2, which probably be the best option, or a 3. Gives me options there. And since there's no 1, it's nice to have that just in case I want to be able to play a card that won't nuke my hand, so to speak. All right, I got a 7, and I held out pretty good. Right, that is going to go right there. And I am going to get rid of... Yep, I think I'm going to get rid of the 6 because the 6 doesn't go with the 7. Gotta maintain things as much as I can. All right, I actually drew my first summit card, and this early phase of the game, the summit is basically discard fodder. It's just something to remember. So I have to remember there's 5 of these, and I just have to remember how many are in the discard. Generally, it's good to remember what's in the discard, but I find that this game doesn't put as much pressure on you to remember the discards as the last one because there are multiple copies. It's not 1 through 80. You do have doubles of each individual card. So I find this is a little bit more tranquil in terms of the memorization aspect. You don't have to memorize, but I think it just benefits you if you have a good one. Still got to remember those summit cards, though. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this 4. I don't have the discard yet, but I've punted the discard decision. Basically says that I need 2, 3, or 4 to go over here. A 3 would be ideal. The way that the bridge works is that you would discard the difference, the greater difference. So if I put a 3, 3 minus 2 is 1, discard a card. 4 minus 3 is 1, discard a card. If I put a 4 here, I would discard 2 cards because I wouldn't go off of here. I would go off of this. Same thing with a 2, I'll discard 2 cards. Again, not the end of the world, but it does give me a little bit of flexibility there, and I have nice low numbers on the second row, which is cool. All right, so for this playthrough, I'm going to be moving the camera pretty frequently to accommodate this rather big playing area, but that's okay. Drew a 6 on my last hand, so I am going to play that 6, and I am going to discard from my hand this 5. Should I discard the 5? No. I've been holding on to this. Actually, you know what? I am going to discard the summit card. What am I talking about? Total discard fodder. That is cool. So then draw a couple more cards. And this is perfect right over here. So I can play this 6 over there and not have to discard anything. I would just be able to draw because 6 minus 6 is 0. That's very cool. And the other thing that I'm going to do is now that I have a 6 laid out over there, I'm going to begin the ascent, or at least a potential path for ascent. Good to have multiple cracks at that green situation. So I'm going to put that 5 right there and discard a card to go along with it. Probably this 11 is going to be out of here, and I will draw 2 cards. 10 and 4. Ugh. 4 would be excellent to go over here, but unfortunately I can't put the 5 next to a 4. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to start this row, this third row, on a nice low number. Remember, I can only go down as far as 3, but I want to give myself an opportunity to play those low 3s, so I'm going to start my third row right there with the green 4. I have another green 4 to draw. Actually, I was considering doing this with the green 4 last time, and I got another one. So I'm just going to play that, and that would actually make me discard 2 cards. I think I'm okay with that. So I think I'm going to discard these 2 high cards, 10 and 11. Once again, I just have to sort of remember that I've discarded these, and that the summit card is, I'm going to need to nurture that a little bit better. Yeah, this is going to be, I'm going to have this my hand too long. So I'm just going to discard that. Wait a minute. I'm not going to discard that. See the decision space. One thing I can do is I can lay this down and bring it up with a campfire later as opposed to discarding it. So I'm actually going to discard 2 cards, these red cards, and save the 11 for a play. And it could be a potential use of the campfire later. So I got another 10. That's 5. And the 11, look at that. I have 2 11s. That's completely good. Not going to work out for me too well. But this 5 looks like a good candidate to be placed right there. I think I'm going to be able to finish this first row pretty soon. I think I'm good to get rid of one of these 11s. Draw 2 cards, a 10 and a 6. The game is really begging me to finish this row, but I think I want to finish this with a green. That would give me a third opportunity to ascend. I would be able to ascend off the 6, the 4, and here if I put a green there. So I think I'm going to hold out for that as much as I can. So instead of putting it over there, I'm going to put that over here, continuing this row right there, and I'm going to discard, let's discard this blue this time. Blue 10. And draw a couple of cards. Look at that. Keep on getting the doubles over here. Just have to be mindful of that. And another summer card that's also going to get discarded. The second of 5. So unfortunately, I have a lot of high cards. I've been discarding a lot of 10s and 11s. And I've gotten a lot of 10s and 11s. And I'm looking at 4, 5, and off camera. I'll actually just show you. There's a 5 at the end over here. Or I'm sorry, 4, 6, 5. That's not going to work too much. Good thing I have these grappling hooks to kind of get me through. I might have needed to plan for a little bit more number diversity, like put a high card here and a low card there. Yeah, the strategy, like this game has subtle amounts of strategy, which is pretty satisfying. But for now, I've had this bridge in my hand a while. So I'm going to just play that over there and see if I can get a little bit more flexibility in my hand. An 8. All right, so here is a use of a campfire. This campfire has been sitting in my hand the whole time, kind of gunk it up a little bit, waiting for a good opportunity, and I think I have one. So I know I have these 2. I know I have these 2 bridges together, but actually this might create a really good a little stratagem for me. So I'm actually going to take that and put the campfire there. And then I am going to place that right there. So I did a couple of things. First of all, it now has only the 2 to be able to make the difference. So this is a little bit of a corner case, not really covered in the rules, but I think that the 2 is the only number that needs to be comboed off of. So if I put a 2 there, I wouldn't have to discard the extra cards because it's no longer a 4 there. So we're going to call that chicanery that I can do. The other one is I have 2 4s over here. If I get a red 4, it's just going to go right there without having to discard anything. Strategy, baby. Love it. And what did I get? A 7. All right, so this is the outer edge over here. And I'm going to put that right there. So that's discard 1. Going to be another one of these high cards, which is the 10. Over there. Oh, man, I'm discarding a lot of high cards. I don't like that at all. Oh, Campfire, save me. Yeah, I know I should have discarded the Summit, but I know I probably have to discard one of those cards sooner rather than later. 4 and 5, that's actually really, really helpful. This one is helpful. This 5 is helpful because I can finish this. And as much as I wanted to wait for a green there, yeah, I'm just not getting a ton of useful green. So that's perfectly fine. And I am going to draw. Oh, there we go. That is one thing I wanted. And I have up to 6. All right, looks like I'm going to be able to fill these bridges. So that had to happen. A green 2. Perfect. Did not. The difference is 0. There's a Campfire here, so I don't have to discard for that. And I also got that red 4, and I'll be able to cover the other card, also without having to discard. All right, clever, clever. I think so anyway. Let's see. What I might do after this playthrough is have the publisher look at the rules, and if they get back to me and say that this is a little bit janky, there will be notes up top. But if there's not anything janky and they give me the go, there will be a thumbs up. All right, so I am going to need an outlet for some higher cards with this 4th row. So I'm going to actually place this over here, keeping in mind that this is there in case I need it for the, that replace it with a Campfire and put it further up the mountain. So that's cool. I don't get a discard from that, but I do draw a 2. This is basically useless. Oh, and speaking of useless, I'm going to put that here, and that is going to be the card I discard. And draw 2 more to continue my play. Ooh, a red Campfire, and is this useful? I think I kind of put myself into a corner where the 2s are no longer useful, which is a shame, but oh well. So here's another decision point that I need to acknowledge. So I left myself 2 different paths for the green path upwards. Unfortunately, my hand is not cooperating, so I just have to roll with the punches. That's why I tried to go for 2. And I'm just going to put the 7 here. The 7 does a lot of good stuff. Can place it without having a discard, but it blocks off this 4. I now have only 1 path, and I need to really make sure that this next card is like a green 5 or a green 6, something in the range, so I can kind of keep on going upwards. And I just drew a bridge, so that card actually lets me do just that. I can wait. And I just need to wait for a proper card to show up here so I can get a green path going up to the top. Drew another summit. I have 2 summits in my hand. That is not going to work out for me. All right, so I think green 3 would do over there, especially since I basically roped myself into a 4 or a 3 here, which I already have 2 4s on the field. 3. I am going to mill the deck until I get a green 3, and that is exactly what is going to happen over there. So I do not discard because I placed it next to a bridge. That discard is going to come later. I have an 8. All right, so now I have my 8, and I get to finish the second row. I won't have to move the camera so much because the board is going to coalesce a little bit, and I can get rid of this. This is my 2nd of 5. So I just have to, again, keep in mind that I am discarding my 2nd of 5 summits, and I can draw 2 cards to replace. All right, yes, Campfire and a 3. I told you exactly where that 3 is going. That 3 is going right there. And I'm going to discard my 3rd summit card in order to place it there. And whew, I just have to be really careful of that and get like a 9 or something else going of green and then be able to continue. And I think I have the ability to do that. Okay, 12 and 4. All right, so the current state of my hand, I actually have 2 Campfires. That is kind of clunking up my hand a little bit, plus a lot of blue. So I'm going to take that opportunity because I don't want to use the mulligan. I'm going to try to make it using as few mulligans as I can, darn it. And discard now. The 2 is definitely discard fodder. And the 4, a little bit painful to get rid of, but I think I'll live. So that was 3 cards. It's kind of a way to mill my hand, actually. And I got some high cards to replace them. Very nice. And look at that. See, this is what patience is a virtue. Good things come to those who wait. And I was able to complete my green without having to discard anything. Perfect. And I get a 3. And I needed you before. Don't need you anymore. Discard fodder. I lied. It is not discard fodder. This is the 3rd row, so I can place that there without having to draw. Really got to watch for those opportunities. I mean, I'm not zooming the camera out, but you can tell there's a big board over here. I have a lot to kind of ingest. So it's actually kind of fun scanning the whole board and figuring out optimal placements for my tiles. Okay, and I got another 3, and that is not even a decision. Going to finish off that 3rd row and start to get going really high up on my pyramid. All right, so for the sake of creating some number diversity, I am going to play this 5 over here. That is the lowest card I can put on the 5th row. So it limits my options a little bit, but at least I get to use that 5, but it isn't like just in the middle of discards. So because normally I have to play a higher card and I would waste it, so 5, and we're going to see if I can get like a 6 or more 5s along there. Okay, that is yet another high card. Keeping that diversity going with high cards and low cards, I'm going to put that 12 right there, and I have made myself a nice little run. I'm going to pull, there's my 4th summit. Have to say that out loud, make sure I remember. But that does not distract me from putting this 12 over there. Man, I would have had a second option at a green snake up there. Unfortunately, if I put the 12 there, it does save my hand, but it really narrows me down. I'll show you that in just a second. But I do have a card to pull. That is a 7. Nice. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this campfire, and I am going to take this 6 that is all the way down here. Campfires can be basically replace any tile in the series. I'm going to put the 6 right there. Going to discard a card, which is going to be the last summit, or the last summer card I can discard. The next summer card is going to be in my hand until the end of the game. So that was number 4. And I will draw up to 2. Perfect. Wow, wow, sweet. Wow, I was actually going to put the 7 over here to continue the series, but I can actually put the 6 here without discarding anything. Sweet. Love it when a plan comes together. Fantastic. So I got another very high card right there, and I think I'm going to want to look at that. I am now ascending to the heights. We're actually kind of getting a little bit close to the end game over here. So I'm going to continue my flexibility, low cards and high cards available. I'm going to put a 10 right there. That starts that. I'm going to draw a card, which is a nice low card, a 5. So low, high, playing that game. Very nice. Going to take this 11, put that there, and discard this 12 right now. It doesn't really do anything for me because I can't put it next to the red. I know that'll be forward planning, but I don't only have so much room in my hand. So we got 2 cards to pull. 2 and 11, which means basically garbage. So I am going back down in the number sequence over here. Remember, this is the 5th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I just have to remember that this has to be a nice high card. So I think I can manage that. But that is a 5 right there. And that I discard 1 card, which would be the 2. Get out of here. Okay, got me a bridge. Sweet. All right, so here's where remembering, a better memory would help. So better memory would help is like, how do I have available to myself basically like 9, 10, 11, or 12. So I see I have this needs to be green. This has to be green. So I'm going to put a placeholder here to hold out for a good green. And I don't know if I've discarded both 10s or... Well, I've played both 10s. I don't know if I've discarded the next 11. Somebody watching the stream might remember. I might use this 9, but that's a little bit costly. So I'm just going to hold on to that 9 for now. This is like kind of my fail safe, but I'll see if I have like another suitable card to put there, maybe like a 12 or something. All right. Ooh, fodder, yes. Okay, I have to finish that, and I am going to finish that with... I'm going to finish that with the 7 right there. Oh! Got stuck right there. Definitely get rid of the 2. I think I'm going to get rid of the 8, the 11 right here, because I used to have this 8, 9 that could run together and be anywhere. So pretty comfortable doing that. I can pull 3 cards. Sorry about that. Nice high cards. I think I'm a decent shape to get this run going. Sweet. All right, so I am going to place this 9. It's a good fail-safe over there, but I think I'm ready to kind of make a good move. So then we're going to do... Let's see, 11 and 3. I'm going to get out of here. So I'll draw some cards. Wow. Oh, man, that I feel really good about this. That's outstanding. So then I'm going to take this 9, put that right there. Draw a card as a 6. I don't have that many cards left in the deck. So just to let you know, I am about to finish off the game, but I'm bringing it down to the nitty gritty, just to give you a sense for how the game flow comes at least towards the end game. All right, so huzzah, I'm happy I don't have to move the camera anymore. And I think I'm in pretty good shape over here. So I got an 8 for that. I'm going to pick that up. I got another 8 right there. And that will continue my green run, which I think is absolutely fabulous. And park a card over there. And this is the last summit, so I absolutely need to place this summit in order to do my thing. So I am going to place this 6 right there to get rid of the 4 and the bridge. I don't think I need a bridge anymore. So let's get rid of that. Pick 3 cards. And there's not a lot of cards left in this deck. Ooh, wait a minute. This is a little bit impossible, but wait a minute, look what I can do. Sorry about that. So I'm going to use this 12 to put that right there. Draw a card. I have a lot of green left, a lot of good options. I'm going to use my last campfire. Told you I was going to use that last campfire. I'm going to go a little bit off screen down the pyramid. Pick it up from the middle of the pyramid, and I'm going to use another 12, so that does not necessitate a discard. And then I am going to place my summit on top. Look at the size of that playing area. Woohoo! And I was able to get a nice green path going all the way up top, and I have successfully completed a game of Tranquility Ascent. So, yeah, I mean, I hope that I was able to bring to life some of the card manipulation. And, you know, this is not a kind of a crunchy gamer's game that's going to burn your brain. It is a breezy time with some really cool, tactile movements. There's expansions that are going to come in the box, especially those billy goats. I can't wait to see how the billy goats play out in terms of getting them all to the top. So I think there's going to be a lot of game when you back this one. So I had fun. I don't give full reviews of my Kickstarter previews. I only let you know if I had fun or not, and I certainly had fun with Tranquility Ascent. So this was Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop, letting you know that we'll see you at the next stop.